Hi Scorpio, hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for the first week of October. I did a separate video yesterday on a lot of the astrology that's going to be hitting around this new moon, this Libra new moon. I mean, that's happening on October 6th. We have a lot of stuff going on, especially towards the end of the week, but I'm just going to be referencing stuff in general for this week because the energy doesn't really understand the calendar. Ooh, throwing the cards around. So we have this new, you have this new moon happening in your 12th house. So you're going to be very tired. You're probably very tired right now because you have the sun, you have the moon, you have Mars, and you have Mercury retrograde. But Mars is the end of the week, most specifically on like the 7th, like at the end. Mars is going to be exact Cazimi. It's going to, when Mars is Cazimi, it means it's sort of sitting in the pocket, not sort of, it is sitting in the pocket of the sun. So there's a lot of energy, guys, a lot of I am here, listen to me, this is what I want to take control, I want a fresh path, I want a new perspective, and all of this big energy is happening in your subconscious, in your hidden realm, right? The 12th house is the house of the hidden. It has to do with endings, it has to do with healing, it has to do with karma, it has to do with where you limit yourself. It has to do with your subconscious. 12th house is several things. It's the house of the hidden, and we also call it the house of self-sabotage, because it's where we can be so entrenched in this idea of a dream or of a strong desire or this connection to spirituality that we can actually forego the 3D and end up sacrificing or maybe self-sabotaging circumstances that can help us better our life moving forward, right? So having all of this energy in that 12th house, what does it mean? Well, on a very subconscious level, you're going to have this warrior spirit woken up in you. There's no question about it. I have your chart here, by the way. This is what I'm looking at. So you're going to have your warrior spirit absolutely woken up in you. Now, I do want to mention, for those of you who have children, we're looking at the 5th house. I feel like if you have older children, especially, you're dealing with one of your children is feeling sort of very confused right now about what's going on in some part of their life. Like, are they on the right path? Are they in the right situation? Are they doing the right thing? So just make sure, just be mindful of that. I just like to throw that out there, just as a fellow parent, just to throw that out there. Also, if you have more than one kid, your second born child will be indicative of your 7th house, and this would be with Uranus and Taurus. There might be some big changes going on in the life of your second oldest. But going back to this new moon energy, so we have a lot of stuff going on in this 12th house. Now, at the same time, we have the moon and Mars are going to be quincunxing Uranus in your 7th house of contracts, partnership, interpersonal connections. This also has to do with your clientele, if you're in business or if you serve clients or anything like that. That has to do with the 7th house as well. And we're talking about a quincunx. We're talking about your emotionally, you're going to be feeling very out of sync with that relationship, with that business situation, with how something is rolling out, having to do with your patients or your clients, whatever that is, right? However that rolls out. So there's going to be this very heightened sense of feeling out of sync that you're not going to be able to not look at. Now, with Mars going Cazimi, the moon's going to be combust, so there's going to be, and so is Mercury, really. It's going to be a wide combustion, but it's going to be combust nonetheless. That just means that those energies are going to be a little weakened. And quite frankly, I don't mind when the moon is combust, because the moon does incite these feelings of like crisis of faith, very vulnerable, feeling very illusory, feeling very confused, disappointed. So the sun might sort of temper that a little bit, dampen it a little bit. In your 12th house is the house of the subconscious. So you might be reflecting on things from the past because Mercury retrograde is in there. You might be reflecting or thinking about people from the past, situations in the past. And even though you're remembering very clearly that something was painful or something didn't work, it's not hitting you as sharply right at this point, which I think is very good. And it's more like, I feel like your internal world is going to be very, very empowered, but you want to make sure that you temper this energy, because coming from this 12th house, you can get very wrapped up in the way that you think something needs to be, or the way that you think somebody is treating you, the way you think something, fill in the blank, that you can get so in this warrior spirit and so in a space where you feel like you need to defend yourself that you can end up sabotaging something. So you just want to be careful and send everything through the filter that you're going to be speaking from, that you've been feeling. especially anything that you are feeling intuitively. You guys have a very intuitive sign. Sit with it a bit. Sit with it a bit and contextualize it before you act on any sort of intuitive urges that you're getting. I'm not saying not to exercise them. I'm not saying not to communicate it, but to just run it through the filter first, okay? What else did I want to mention here? So yeah, also I feel like some of you, if you're in a space having to do with any sort of home situation, maybe you're doing work on your home, you're looking to sell your home, or people moving in, moving out, something going on with your home. We have Mercury retrograde is actually trining Jupiter at 22 degrees. This is a pretty nice trine here actually, but with both of these energies retrograde, it could be a little frustrating where you may be in a space, Scorpio, where you're rethinking your home, you're rethinking where you live, you're rethinking who you live with, you're rethinking situations that are going on in your home. You might be strategizing, but you may feel metaphorically like harnessed, where you feel held back. Now, that may be happening. Jupiter and Saturn are going to be coming out of retrograde, but not this week. This week, only Pluto is going to be coming out of retrograde, which is in your third house. And what I do like about this is, you know, the third house is also Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So as we're, you know, this first week is going to be, you're going to be feeling very sort of shackled in your ability to feel understood in order for you to communicate effectively. But then it's going to kind of lift, because then Pluto's going to go direct. Even though this is a mercurial house and Mercury is still going to be retrograde, the transformation, you're definitely going to be feeling like some change is going to start to happen, having to do with anything, maybe some sort of thing that you need to learn, maybe to advance your career. Something having to do with the belief system, something going on with your siblings, extended family, or your in-laws, something to do with launching a project, publishing, negotiating, because all of this, the third house, ninth house axis is very much working together. So I feel like that is going to be going on for you. And all of this heavy energy in your 12th house is going to be trining that ninth house of belief system, of launching things. So I feel like if you've been feeling very held back on your communication, your ability to negotiate something, whatever it is, that's going to sort of lift this week. But internally, you're going to be feeling this very heavy energy. That is actually going to be very good for you, because this is the thing. You know what it is, Scorpio? Let me just put this over here. The stuff that you're going to be realizing, and the whatever information is going to be downloaded to you right now, and there's going to be a lot of downloads, right? Because this is all your 12th house, like the house of the heaviest downloads. If I could just like deal with this paper for a moment. Things that bothered you very deeply or really worried you up to this point, a lot of you may start to feel it now, at the time of this reading, right? Which is, I mean, it's 27th, 28th. I don't even know today's date, but these things are not going to bother you the way they did once upon a time. Things that you had anxiety about or heavily ruminated about at one point, you're able to put things in a different perspective. And you're able to, it's truly like you are fighting for yourself within your own mind. Now, I do want to mention this as a little caveat here, because this is going to resonate with some of you, because I don't know what else is in your chart. Mars, Cazimi in the 12th house can create a significant amount of confusion, overwhelming sort of feeling like almost fragmented in your mind, where your mind is going a million miles an hour. But the thing is, with Mercury retrograde in there at 20 degrees, it's going to be very hard for you to properly articulate what it is that you're feeling. So Scorpio, I want to say, if you're feeling that energy where you're feeling very overwhelmed internally, honestly, guys, just try to lighten up your schedule as much as you can. Do things that make you feel good, that bring you peace. Hang out with people that you know are supportive. Try to involve yourself in situations that make you feel loved, and to try to just treat yourself with kindness, and try to clear your head the best you can. And I can't emphasize enough the mind-body connection in this. Remember, the 12th house, it works opposite the 6th house. This has to do with mental, physical, emotional health. Absolutely try to work out. Even if you don't work out a lot, try to just do some yoga, try to just meditate, try to do some really assertive, aggressive closet cleaning, you know, whatever the case is. I feel like that's going to be very helpful to you. Sorry for the long intro there. I was like not doing that with other signs. I felt like I needed to do it for you, which is the whole reason why I made that other video. But there's even other information in there, right? Okay, so let's see. We're going to apply this to each area of your life. So we're starting out right now. You are the Wheel of Fortune. You feel like you're at a turning point. Yeah, there's no question. You know, and the turning point, that could have to do with, you know, a relationship. This could have to do with, you know, thinking about the past coming back around. But remember, the wheel is also with Jupiter energy, so this is a really nice energy for career or money. This indicates you're in a space of creating a situation where you want to increase your money, right? This is good news coming in, you needing to prioritize the situation. But you're being challenged by the King of Cups, which tells me that there's this need to settle some sort of conflict, either within yourself or with somebody else, having to do with relationship, having to do with the responsibility surrounding some sort of job. Maybe you're going back to a job that you did once upon a time, and you're approaching it from a space of remembering what happened last time, and you're feeling kind of defensive, so you need to settle that conflict within yourself and maybe even with somebody else. For others of you, this can be this energy of reconnecting with somebody from your past. But knowing that if you guys are going to reconnect in any way that's going to actually work, you have to settle some sort of conflict. Queen of Cups energy coming into this. I like this for you. It's a Gemini and Cancer energy. So having a conversation, or at least realizing internally what it is that you need to feel grounded, rooted, safe, and secure. So for some of you, you may, you know, if this had to do with the relationship, maybe this is the energy of falling in love or a deepening of love. If you're in a relationship that's pretty long standing, emotional honesty being exercised, but it's emotional honesty about what's needed to make something work in the long term. Right? Not being afraid to have that conversation. If this has to do with work, recognizing and having the conversation about how much money, what is your bottom line? How much money do you need to make? What are you willing to do and not do in having to do with that opportunity? But I feel like something is being offered to you and you're needing to balance it out. It's like you're not 100% on board with something, so you need to sort of settle this conflict within yourself. Now we have the Ten of Wands working with the Four of Wands here. So the Ten of Wands is the card of overwhelm and responsibilities and burden. It's a Saturn in Sagittarius. It's like you very much want to move forward. You want to have, you know, good things happen to you. You want to move forward with integrity. But Saturn is very restrictive. It's no, not yet. Not yet. You have to focus on this over here. Those of you who are in a relationship or in some sort of committed situation, you may be, your relationship or that situation may be neglected right now because of other very busy things going on in life, and you may not even feel very receptive to this reading right now, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, all of this is meant to be food for thought anyway, but it is an energy of overwhelm and almost like a catch-22 kind of thing, I always feel like, with this one, because it's like, yeah, I know I have to make that change, but guess what? For me to make that change requires time, which I don't have, or requires money, which I don't have, or requires something that, you know, you don't have. That could end up, you know, inciting that new beginning, but it's definitely this energy of overwhelm. It's the basis of this situation. Current situation, though, is the Four of Wands, Venus in Aries. So this is a very celebratory vibe, you offering your talents and gifts to a person or a situation, and it being appreciated, or you wanting it to be appreciated, which is good. So this Ten of Wands could indicate you leaving something behind and sort of jumping on board something new, something that makes you feel more free, where you're allowed to exercise your creativity more, that's going to incite a stronger foundation that you're looking for. So that could be for some of you that way. For others of you, the Ten of Wands is releasing a relationship that you were in, at least in the way that it was, because this indicates somebody new opening up their heart and expressing their feelings for you. So for some of you, it's going to be that. For others of you, this Ten of Wands could be like, look, I'm sick of playing this game with you where we're dating for forever and a day. We do a lot of talking, we do no walking. And as far as, you know, getting married, getting engaged, having a child, doing whatever it is, opening that business, we do too much talking and there's not enough action here, right? And that's the basis of the situation. And you're saying, like, enough is enough. And this Four of Wands energy could indicate that more of an auspicious energy where somebody actually wants to create something with you. Again, it's this Venus in Aries energy. So it doesn't have to only do with relationship. Venus also rules money, self-esteem, things that are equitable, right? In Aries is about a fresh path, new perspective. And it's about taking the bull by the horns and being kind of like a leader in your own life. So some of you may be just in that space. Now, others of you, even again, general messages, so I want to give you everything that I'm getting. Some of you are just going to be very hell-bent on bringing yourself, strong foundation, on your own, by yourself, not counting on anyone else. You're just going to be like, goodbye person, situation, whatever, that overloaded me with a bunch of bullshit that I don't have the space for in my life. And I'm going to be very focused on bringing myself a very strong foundation. Now, what does Spirit want you to look at? The Ten of Cups. Spirit wants you to look at contentment in its purest form. And what does that mean? Very subjective, but generally speaking, something secure, understanding the benefits of security, family, partnership, really good communication, romance for some of you, for others of you, what's necessary to build that business. But whatever it is, this is a Mars and Pisces energy. This is like arriving at what it is that you are really wanting for yourself. So, you know, the message here is kind of, you know, draw an illustration for yourself in that very busy 12th house energy, that you have all of that energy focused on, and then figure out a way, a little at a time. Don't allow yourself to become overwhelmed by the steps necessary to make that happen, one step at a time, and build up towards whatever is your picture of happiness. What is your nirvana? Like whatever, and it's very subjective. It's going to be different for everyone. But you're dealing with an energy external to you that's King of Pentacles. So you may be dealing with somebody either in relationship, in work, in some sort of family situation that's really like their heart is good, generous, hardworking, all of that. But there's an element of greed about them. Now, this element of greed could also be tagged to a particular situation, such as like a job. So how could that manifest? So you might really like a job that you're doing, but it's just not giving you, you know, the money that you're looking for. It just doesn't give it. And if you ask your boss for a raise, it's just the money's not available. And it's not that you hate the job, but you just, there are elements about it that are missing that you can't not see anymore. If you're dealing with somebody in a relationship, they might be a little funny with their money, or if money's not a thing, they might be very unwilling to change, and it's really wearing on your last nerve, right? It could certainly be that. But there is this element of greed and being held back, this hold back that is external to you, that's impacting you, okay? Now, what is in your... the Six of Cups, this is in your psychological challenge, your psychological block here is the Six of Cups. So I feel like a lot of you kind of want to go back to something from the past, or a more innocent space in your life. I guess who doesn't want to do that? But like where you're very much dreaming about it, right? There's a lot of that subconscious internal energy going on. So, and because we have Mercury retrograde in that 12th house for you, a lot of you may be thinking about that relationship that you were in, that job that you were in, thinking about things that have led up to maybe a health scare that you might be experiencing, the past leading up to that family situation, whatever it is, and you're in this space of nostalgia, and it's challenging you right now because you want something to be harmonious. You want there to be balance in something. You want to know that if you feel like you've suffered mistreatment in a situation, you want to know that somebody's going to make good on it. But because this is your challenge, it's like you want something from the past, but you're also fearing it because you may not believe that anything has really ultimately changed, right? And so in this near future energy, we have the Page of Swords. So Page always indicates a new cycle, and Swords are truth. So for some of you, this could indicate useful information coming in, where you're getting help from people around you or within a certain area that can help you further your ambitions. So this could be, for some of you, a job offer, for some of you, a contract coming your way, for some of you, it's just some sort of agreement, any kind of agreement. It could even be having to do with a family situation, maybe some sort of inheritance, a divorce situation, something like that. But it's this new information that's coming in that's going to incite this new cycle. But whatever it is, Scorpio, you're going to be very, very focused on your mind, right? Because this is the personification of air. So you want to think air is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So communication, fairness about the future. You're going to be very focused on that. And you're almost going to be, I feel like, going in a very like pragmatic way, saying, well, this is the situation and this is what I have to do and this is how it needs to be handled, right? And now clarifying that is the Six of Pentacles, having to do with property, family, For some of you, inheritance. For others of you, just the idea of generosity and support. You supporting somebody, them supporting you. You know, it really can be vice versa. I have your back, you have mine, that kind of thing. This can also indicate someone from your past offering support to you right now, or again, you offering it to them if that's necessary. So it could even be whether it's a shoulder to lean on or having to do with money. But I feel like a lot of you are going to be very moved to communicate with somebody. I feel like in your past, you may be feeling that. You know, Pluto is the judgment energy, and judgment, when we're talking about like relationships, it's about assessing a situation. With Pluto going direct, if you were involved with anybody in the past, they might be having these epiphanies. You guys may end up talking, but I want to keep it real. These energies are going to be squaring each other. So it might not be comfortable to talk. Well, one of these things ever comfortable. That's so ridiculous, right? But it's just saying, it may not be very comfortable to have that conversation. A sibling, extended family member, somebody that you were just involved with at one point. Four of Swords is you taking a step back. Some of you may be healing if you had any sort of physical issue going on, but you may be taking a step back for a different perspective on how to handle this particular situation to move forward. As you recognize, there's argument here. I mean, there's definitely, you're sitting back, you're trying to figure out a different strategy, but some sort of argument is inside it because you're experiencing a battle of wills and a lack of agreement, right, with somebody or a group of people in your life, and it's going to incite something coming down, some sort of necessary surrender to a situation. And that is the Tower, necessary surrender. It's Mars. It's like, look, this is not, some sort of truth comes out, something's exposed, and it's like, wow, this is not meant for you. It's time for me to put you on the Chariot, Mars is saying to you, and for you to go towards a metaphorical home space where it is that you're meant to be, because where you are right now, it can't continue. Now, some of you may be having an internal Tower moment, because its positioning here could also indicate that you're recognizing it's time for you to make very broad sweeping changes in your life, very broad, not only within you, but also things that you've allowed yourself to be a part of. So lots of big sweeping energy for a lot of Scorpios, a lot of planning. Don't act on anything yet. Just wait till, at least wait till Mercury comes out of retrograde. Like it comes out of retrograde the third week of October, but I don't trust it until the beginning of November, right? Because that post shadow. But you just have to know, trust this. Check it out. We have this Tower is being clarified by the star. So whatever's happening here, whatever's coming down, if you're having this epiphany and you're realizing that you have to change, destiny is at play. If something ends, that relationship, that job, that family situation, destiny is at play. There's no question. And this is the strength energy. So you want to make sure, the strength always indicates that there's something promising that could come out of this, but you have to attain balance somehow. You have to attain balance with a person, a situation, whatever is on the other side of this. Now, for some of you, for all of you, this is a change for the better after a difficult time. Now, this could indicate that you're destined to be with somebody, you know, that you are sort of toggling with in a relationship. It's time for you guys to just figure your nonsense out. For those of you who are single, it's time for you to just say, you know, enough already to how you're closing yourself off and opening yourself up to one unhealthy energy after another. Really do some very deep introspective work and look at, why are you drawing these narcissists, like, you know, addicted people towards yourself? If that's your story, not an uncommon situation for a Scorpio energy. Or why are you drawing, you know, these people to yourself that aren't respecting you in the way that you know you need to be respected, or they're not showing up in the way that they initially presented that they would, right? So you saying to yourself, okay, what is the common denominator there? Me, and that unhealthy whatever. So it's time to clean myself up and change my lens and really evolve myself into something far healthier for myself. And I do like this a lot for you, because now for some of you, if you're doing all of the changing and you know that you were the main reason why a relationship didn't work out, first of all, give yourself a hug, forgive yourself. None of us are perfect. We will go through this and that at some point. But, and I'm saying this because there might be some sort of conflict coming in, But then we have the Star. So if this is an energy that you're meant to be with, then we have the Ace of Swords, which indicates getting over past obstacles and getting what you want and thoughts becoming things. So this can be this energy of something working out in relationships, something working out having to do with career. If you're recognizing that the reason things haven't worked out up to this point is because of how you've been presenting yourself, and you making this very strong effort to make some adjustments within yourself, things going really well. That's how it could be for some of you. Others of you, you're leaving something unhealthy. You're moving towards something that is way better for you. This Ace of Swords energy is auspicious for all areas of life. New beginnings, decisions, having very clear thinking in work and love, any area of life. But an immediate change to your circumstances for the better, because you're very mentally agile here. Very mentally agile. And I feel like this would be coming towards the end of the week. I would not expect this into the beginning of the next week, to be honest. And then we have the Queen of Swords energy, all about the truth, very motivated to find out the truth and the psychological motivation of either a person or a situation. And that's being clarified by the Knight of Cups, which is a proposal, Aquarius and Pisces. So very emotional time within an existing relationship. This could also indicate, the Ace of Swords can indicate you meeting somebody new as well. So it's like something ending so that you're able to meet somebody else, and you're in the space of trying to figure out, are they real, are they not real? And the Knight of Cups would indicate you being very wrapped up in that new energy. Just, again, you want to be open to real love, real, right? You want to make sure everybody's walking their talk. You be very cautious in relationship, but this could also be the same thing in any sort of business opportunity as well. This could be a business offer coming in, a job offer, something that's going to make you feel better about where you're at. So I definitely see some new beginnings here. So that is good. And gosh, there's like a lot, like energetically, I felt like so many messages needed to be delivered for that one. It's very interesting. All right, so let's pull some on relationship. So I'm just going to pull a past, present, future, and final outcome with clarifiers. Okay, and pull a few oracles. So you were dealing with a narcissist. Okay. I'm not even gonna clarify that. I'm going to say it was a narcissist. Sometimes, you know, because they tend to say, oh, you know, I'm always careful when I use that word. We can have the tendencies. It doesn't mean that, you know, that they have the disorder. I don't know. Emperor reverse. Narcissist, power hungry, domineering. Will say or do whatever they have to do to get their own way. Egotism crosses boundaries. Yucky, yucky. And here you are, hurting. As happens, you know, it's like even if you know somebody's bad for you, it's like you feel the sense of loss and leaving. You know, you're only human. As like something ended before you felt really ready for it to. You can be able to deal with it and move on and assimilate the old stress and sadness and move on to make a new start. I mean, I see you doing this right now. It's like you moving on here with the Six of Swords. This is the current situation. You moving on. And again, this could manifest more mentally than physically right now, especially with all of this energy in your 12th house of your subconscious. You may be working through this idea of detaching from the toxicity. You know, allowing that space to do some really good internal work and just really taking care of yourself. I mean, the Queen of Coins representing you is just taking care of your body, your mind, your soul, your finances, just really focusing on what matters. Absolutely, what's needed for a situation to grow and work. So it's almost like you have a very bird's eye view of some sort of situation that you've been going through. So we have the King of Swords energy clarified by the Four of Coins. So the King of Swords is very focused on logic, the mind, not the heart, in order to take charge of the circumstances. Just staying very air, right? Capricorn and Aquarius. Staying very earthy and grounded in your mind and focusing on your future and very much thinking about your resources, maybe, you know, feeling very, very self-protective of your security. Some of you may be watching your resources right now, or in the near future rather, because you're concerned about, you know, having versus not having a firm foundation. But a lot of you just may be in this space where you're closing yourself off because you're feeling very, very self-protective. It might not have anything to do with money. You know, it's like you're not allowing your heart to get involved in the situation because you're dealing with this messy energy. And this Emperor reverse is very dangerous because this is the kind of person that could love bomb you and make you feel like $1,000,000 and then gaslight you and try to make you think there's something wrong with you and point all the fingers at you. So it's like on the one hand, they built you up, and then on the other hand, they take it away, and they build you up and they take it away. And it's this constant going back to that built up feeling like if only that's possible. If they were able to do that, maybe anything's possible. And it's sort of getting caught up in that nexus of, but what ifs, and maybe then, and what, you know, and if onlys, right? But I don't see you in the near future. Right now, I see you moving out of that. And that's the beauty of October, because you're going to be have such resolve to take care of yourself and for you to be heard. And even though this is happening in your 12th house of the hidden, doesn't it have to happen there first before we bring it out? Right? I mean, this is like, it has to happen in our mind first. We have to feel it viscerally before we can bring it out there. And I feel like you're just like, I'm protecting myself. Man, you are a person not good for me. Now, as the final outcome energy, we have the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is feeling anxiety and overwhelm. You might even be having trouble sleeping, but personally, I feel like this is just because the Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, everybody's in your 12th house, which really does interrupt your sleep. There's no question. There's no question at all, you know. And the fact that you have Uranus is quincunxing all this energy in that 7th house, and, you know, we're doing a relationship read here. Something having to do with relationship is keeping you up on top of everything else, right? But here you are trying to figure out a new way forward, a better strategy for moving forward, because you don't want to be feeling still that same way. You just don't want to. But it's a very heightened kind of energy. And don't be surprised if you feel like your ego very heightened and you're feeling the need to protect yourself in this energy. Clarifying this is the Page of Coins, this personification of Earth. This does have to do with very auspicious beginnings, you know, regarding moving forward, meeting like a new cycle of a connection. This is a very hardworking energy. It's very reliable. It does indicate a strong potential for success. And I'm going to just tell you what I'm getting here, Scorpio. A lot of resolve. I feel like you're realizing in this Four of Swords energy, trying to figure out a different strategy. You want to be involved with somebody. You don't even want to bother with anybody who's not willing to put a lot of work in to the relationship, who feels the same desire for a successful relationship as you. You're just not having it. You were dealing with unhealthy, and now you just want healthy. So the oracles that we pulled, we have Tune Out Distractions, Heaven Sent. Wow, this is very much a 12th house energy, guys, for sure. The 12th house, I always say in my readings, I always say that the 12th house is like when we're in utero, in our mothers, because we exist, but we're not of the world yet. So we're caught between things. So that's why that 12th house is really is where the veil is the thinnest. So and because of all of this energy going on in there for you, I feel like a lot of you are just going to be very connected. Your intuition's going to be popping. Your dreams might be a little bananas. You're going to feel very tired. You're going to be experiencing very weird things throughout the day. Weird, I mean, Blue Jays, Cardinals, static with the technology, weird sense, cold and hot, tingling randomly down the back of the arms, the back, the neck. These are all things letting you know like somebody on the other side is like right there for you. And then it's let love grow for yourself here, Lavaria. Let love grow. So I see you wanting to be protective of yourself, but it's time for you to make this adjustment. It's like, I'm not going to allow A, B, and C in my life anymore. I am going to allow this in my life, and I'm going to allow that to grow, and I'm not going to inhibit that from growing because of my past, right? It's not, you want to be careful to not project any sort of past hurts onto any potential beautiful future possibilities for yourself, right? All right, my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.